This matter is something that happened very close to us. The person who told me this was my mother. At that time, my mother was a teenager, around 15 to 16 years old. This is an approximate number. Mother has 3 older brothers, 2 younger sisters, and 1 younger brother. Mother and 2 younger sisters are very close because they were beaux. They were born around the same time. Wherever we go together, including going to study together. Suppose that your mother's younger sibling, the first person's name is Yum. A bit trendy, the appearance is feminine and neat. Sweet, quiet. Another person named Yan will be cheerful and cheerful. Every morning after helping with housework and farm work. My mother and the little one's uncle had to walk many kilometers to go to school, as you know. In the past, roads were not as convenient as they are today. The road is dirt on both sides, and in some parts there are rice fields. Sometimes they are garden vegetables that the villagers in that area grow. Or in some parts it is a wilderness. It is full of large trees, and there is 1 tree at the base. There is an old wooden shrine standing there. You can walk past it. My mother said that she raised her hands to worship every time. It takes 2 to 3 hours to walk from home to school. Every day the routine is like this. Coming home from school is even slower. But every day events proceed like this until one day this happened. To this day, my mother still can't believe it's true. I don't quite believe it, but there are many witnesses. That evening after school, my mother and the little ones, we walked home normally. That day, Aunt Yam also wasn't feeling well. As we neared the house, it began to get dark, but I didn't feel anything. Because I'm used to it, but today there's something different. In the overgrown forest, at the base of the tree where the old shrine is located, there was a woman standing next to the court, a middle-aged woman with shoulder-length hair, wearing a black shirt and a sarong. My mother remembers it clearly. At the time, she didn't think anything of it. Hurry and lead the little one to half walk, half run. Past that woman, the period that has passed, Mom glanced over. Seeing the woman staring at her mother and younger sibling, the woman smiled. The woman's eyes looked very scary. And my mother said she still remembers it to this day. But that night there was no incident. In the morning after finishing work, must go to school only today. Uncle Yan's condition is not getting better. Her fever is high. So mother goes to school with Uncle Yan, just the 2 of them. Things continued like this for 2 to 3 days, and Uncle Yan's condition didn't improve at all. And the strange thing is, at night, we'll startle and scream loudly throughout the house, tell Mom, Grandma, that someone is coming in to do harm, something like that, but no one believes it. I think I must be dreaming. The next day, my grandfather went to see the doctor to see the symptoms. The doctor said it was the flu and gave medicine and rest for another 2 to 3 days and it would go away. But in the end, the symptoms still didn't improve. It also collapsed. At night, Uncle Yam still has the same dream every day that someone comes in and hurts her. Until I hardly slept. I was tired, my face was dull, and I had no energy. Until 7 days have passed until now, the eldest brother uncle talks to Grandpa saying, it already looks strange. Then came and asked my mother, did you go somewhere naughty? My mother said no. That day, my uncle went out and came back around mid-afternoon, bringing a medicine man, not a witch doctor with a knife. Hanging beads similar to a midwife's medicine doctor, but probably enough knowledge. I don't know how to call it. After that doctor came and I walked in to see Aunt Yam. Aunt Yam said hello. Tell me, please help me. Someone is going to hurt me. The medicine doctor said it was nothing. I was just dreaming, it's a pity. No one believes me when I say it. The medicine doctor said that Auntie Yam, it looked like someone had been hit by something, or maybe they just hadn't recovered from the fever yet. I don't know yet. Give the medicine a decoction and wait to see symptoms. If it doesn't get better, you'll have to go to the district. But the medicine doctor emphasized that it is important to strictly not allow strangers or people you don't know to come visit. That's not enough to say yet. Mom said that she had friends. Many grandparents stopped by to visit. Some people even remember, some people don't know. The medicine man looked at my grandfather's face. My eyes said it was okay, friends. After finishing, my friends walked in to visit Aunt Yum, who was lying on a wooden bed in the central hall of the house. It appeared that there was an old woman standing in front of the door who did not come to visit. Staring at Aunt Yum, Uncle Yum saw this old woman and screamed loudly throughout the house. Everyone was shocked. The medicine doctor saw the old woman and ran in and pointed at her face, cursing and shouting loudly. "Very rough. I apologize," he said. "Smile. Why are you smiling? Hurry and go back. Don't let me see your face again. Like smiling, it won't die well." The people in the house were shocked and confused as well. My mother was shocked by that old woman. One smile, then walked back. My grandfather and grandmother were curious and went to ask the medicine doctor. The medicine man asked if he knew this old grandmother. Grandma and grandpa say they don't know. The medicine man then told me that this old lady is a toy. Play until things get in the way of you, distorted, perverted. Normally, I'm a quiet person, don't associate with anyone. I don't know why I came today, but if this old lady comes again, hurry and chase her away. Don't let them come into the house, and strictly forbid meeting sick people. We talked for a while and then the doctor returned. Said that if symptoms are not good, go ahead, but many things seem to be getting worse. That night, strange events began to occur in the house. Late that night, my mother slept in the mosquito net. I saw the faint shadow of my aunt peeking out from the mosquito net next to me. Mom asked where I was going, but Auntie Em didn't answer. Lost in the kitchen, Mother then got up and followed her to see her sister in the kitchen. I saw Auntie Em squatting with her back turned to her. Mother walked around to the front and was shocked because Auntie Em was sitting and eating chicken entrails without paying any attention to my mother. Just rolled your eyes and glanced at my mother. Then Aunt Yem walked back to bed. My mother is confused. But I was still a child and didn't care. He followed and went to sleep. The next morning, Grandma came to check on his condition. Grabbed Aunt Yem's head. It appeared that the fever had subsided. Grandma said that it had recovered and went out for a walk to get some air. "Can I go to school?" Uncle Yem replied to Grandma with 3 words. My mother remembers in my heart, I'm going to sleep. My grandmother saw that my aunt was sick and didn't say anything, just complain and walk away. As for my mother and Auntie Yen, 2 people went to school together. On the way, Uncle Yen said that last night, Auntie Yem slept and stared at my face all night. I don't know how to feel scary. My mother said it was nothing. I was thinking too much. After school, I came home. Aunt Yem is still sleeping. Grandma made food for me, but I didn't eat it. Said he wanted to eat boiled offal so he would have strength. Normally, Mother said that Uncle Yum hates offal very much with love, child. Grandma went and killed the chickens in the coop and then refrigerated them. Tomorrow morning, I'll make Aunt Yum something to eat. Then everyone dispersed and went to bed. Late at night, Uncle Yum left the mosquito net, walked into the kitchen again. But tonight was strange and disappeared longer than usual. Around 2 to 3 a.m., the dogs were all howling. Mother was startled. Mother looked into the mosquito net behind her. I don't see Aunt Yem. I only saw Uncle Yen sleeping alone. Meanwhile, there was a strange sound. It sounded like a prayer, or some words are not in the language. And not near, not far, the voice said. Mother said that the cold, desolate voice was very scary. Listening to it gave me goosebumps, so much so that Mother didn't dare leave the mosquito net to go follow Auntie Yem. I had to sleep covered. When listening to this shot, I got goosebumps. The sound was loud for a while and then it was quiet. Then my mother heard someone walking back into the room. Building building very loud, like adults stomping their feet. Mother glanced at him briefly. I saw Auntie going back to bed. Even though it's not very clear because there's a mosquito net covering it. But my mother saw Auntie look back and smile. Mother said that the look in Auntie's eyes that night looked strange and strange. That night all night, Mother said she couldn't sleep at all for a very long time. Waiting for a single sound the sound of a rooster crowing. Things continued like this for 2 to 3 days. During the day, Uncle Yum would just sleep and at night she would get up and disappear into the darkness. Then for a while there would be the sound of dogs howling, interspersed with howls, loudly saying to Yod every time, until my mother was very afraid so she thought she would go talk to my uncle. But it wasn't time to ask. The next morning, Mother overheard 3 brothers talking, let's say 3 brothers of Mother, Yak. Yo with Uncle Yo talking with Uncle Yak. The gist is, Uncle Yo said he felt strange. During the day, I just sleep. Not helping around the house, plus he has an aggressive behavior. Very different from the original person. That is both diligent and neat. Uncle Yak, the eldest, has a very gangster personality. But I'm rarely at home and have to go to work often. Said that it felt strange too. During the day, I feel like I'm avoiding the eyes of people in the house all the time. Rarely talk to anyone or would get hit on in the past. I have to admit that this kind of story has a great influence on Thai people, especially in provinces that are far from civilization. Wait another day to see symptoms. If it doesn't get better tomorrow, I'll go see the medicine doctor to see the symptoms again. So my mother walked in and talked about how strange she felt too. At night, Uncle Yum likes to get up and go out. I don't know where. Then Mother said that she also heard strange noises, but 3 uncles said that Mother was dreaming. I told him later that I didn't want to be afraid, and that night many events happened. In the evening, my grandfather and grandmother had to go to a party in another district. And it will probably be close to dawn by the time we return. Let Uncle Yak watch the little ones too. Mother saw Uncle Yak and Uncle Yo standing there, gossiping and talking. After finishing eating, we talked for a while and everyone went to bed. Mother went to sleep. That night, Auntie Yen asked to come sleep with Mother. Because I don't like that Uncle Yum likes to lie down and stare at my face. After that, Mom and Uncle Yum hardly talked. I thought about nothing for a while and then fell asleep in the middle of the night that night. Mother heard the sound of people walking nearby as usual, very loudly. Building. I thought it might be Uncle Yum who had gone somewhere again. He said, "Walk gently, people are going to sleep." Uncle Yum didn't answer. But there was light laughter, followed by a whistling sound. Mother didn't care because she was very sleepy, but had to wake up again and hear that shrill sound again. Mother said that that night she felt unusually afraid, so she got up and said she was going to sleep with her eldest uncles. By leaving the cold water to sleep alone greater than less than Mother walked out of the room. It was completely dark inside the house. But there was nothing wrong. Mom picked up a flashlight, then hurried towards Uncle Yak's room. Because that sound was still nearby, probably behind the house. It was so shrill and terrifying. When Mother entered Uncle Yak's room, I opened the mosquito net and went to sleep as well. But the mosquito net was empty. There are no shadows of people at all. My mother thought to herself that Uncle Yak was probably going out again. So I walked to the mosquito net next to where Uncle Yo and Uncle Yo were sleeping. It appeared that there were no other people in the mosquito net. But before my mother could think of anything, she was startled because there was a sound of gunfire. One gunshot rang out, and my mother was startled and jumped into the mosquito net. But before he could cover himself, he heard many voices, all confused. One is the sound of Uncle Yen screaming throughout the house. Mother said she rushed to the bedroom. Saw Auntie Yen sitting in the mosquito net crying, so he went to comfort her. Uncle Yen is 2 years younger than my mother. But not before Uncle Yen stopped crying. Another gunshot rang out, and two people hugged each other in circles. Then I heard Uncle Yak shout loudly from outside the house. "Can Ram's language, what are you doing to me?" When I heard the sound, my mother told Uncle Yen to go hide in the closet, said I'd come soon. When Uncle Yen went into the closet and closed the closet, Mother rushed towards the source of the sound behind the house. The back door of the house was open. I saw Uncle Yu and Uncle Yu holding a hoe and a machete, each with one handle. Each person holds a flashlight and shines in the dark. By the front end, Uncle Yak is standing holding a shotgun. Behind the house, there are 2 to 3 large clumps of bamboo, beyond which there is a wide expanse of vegetables as far as the eye can see, which is completely black. Can't see anything. When Uncle Yu saw my mother coming out, he chased her back into the house. My mother ran and hid behind the door. Then he glanced straight into the darkness. Well, it was very dark. I could hardly see anything, just 2 flashlights flickering around in the darkness. My mother asked Uncle Yu, "Are you a thief?" But Uncle Yu didn't answer, told me not to come out. While my mother was brave and afraid there's some doubt there. Suddenly, the light from the flashlight shone on a shadow. Mother said she couldn't see clearly. But it was definitely a person, a woman, wearing a black shirt, standing still in the dark. It was several tens of meters away. As soon as the flashlight shines, it suddenly catches a shadow of a person. Uncle Yak didn't even ask about his health, hit it with a shotgun. Mother covered her ears and screamed and sat on the floor. Then shouted and asked Uncle Yu, "Hey, why did you shoot? Is that a hint?" Uncle Yu replied, "Be quiet, stay here and don't go anywhere." Finished, the 3 uncles half walked, half ran towards the spot where they had seen the shadow of a person a moment ago. Mother saw only a flashing light in the distance and saw 3 uncles walking around. I heard a distant voice say, "Where are you going?" After walking around for a while, he walked back. My mother was shocked and asked if she was revealing or not. Uncle Yak is probably still angry. So I scolded my mother, "Be quiet and don't ask me anything." Then he walked into the house and stuffed a handful of bullets into his pocket. Then he told Uncle Yu to walk with him. The 2 of them continued to wade back into the darkness. My mother was completely confused and had tears in her eyes, so Uncle Yu came and sat next to her and said there was nothing. My mother is probably at the end of it. So he said back, "How can you not have it? Tell me if there's anything." "So what did you shoot just now? Who did you shoot?" "It turned out to be a secret. What do you do?" Uncle Yu took a flashlight and looked at the side of the house. Near a clump of bamboo trees there, Uncle Yam was sitting, and he smiled as if she was asleep. "It's like I'm sleepwalking here and falling asleep." Mother went in to wake her up and shook her hard until Auntie woke up. As soon as she woke up, Aunt Yam cried out in a very painful way, said I was in pain. And a lot of stomach pain. Piyad walked in to see, told him to take him back into the house. 2 people helped carry Uncle Yen back to the room. When he heard the voice, Uncle Yen emerged from the closet. "Go in and ask my mother what's going on. What's the matter?" My mother was about to tell me, but Uncle Yod shook his head not to tell. "Tell him to take Yem to bed." Auntie Yen asked what was wrong. Uncle Yem responded in a normal, non-aggressive way, in a normal, self-styled way, saying that her stomach hurts. When finished, Mom and Uncle Yod walked out of the room. My mother asked further, "What happened?" I wanted to know. Uncle Yu began to tell me. Sitting and talking with Uncle Yak, Uncle Yu said he looked strange, didn't talk much, talked aggressively, just slept all day. And when Uncle Yak was not around, there are strange sounds every night. Uncle Yak said he felt the same. "Let's try sitting down tonight and see if there's anything." The 3 of them sat and waited until Yud and Yo fell asleep. Until Uncle Yak came to wake him up and said that he was sitting and smoking a cigarette and was about to fall asleep when he saw him walking towards the back of the house. The 3 of them followed out. When we got there, the door was about to open. I heard a sound like someone stepping on a leaf. It came from the back of the house. Uncle Yak went to pick up a gun, then opened the door. A light shines towards the source of the sound. Outside there was only darkness. Let's look at it for a moment. I saw Auntie Yam standing with her back turned, staggering. When Uncle Yak called out, Yam turned around and took one look, and he collapsed. Pia then went in to wake him up and called out, but he didn't wake up. That was a moment after he was seated against a bamboo grove. There was a strange sound. It's like someone is howling about something, loudly floating from behind the bamboo grove. It was an open vegetable patch, so two uncles shone their lights in the direction of the sound. I saw a shadow of a person standing in the distance, not near, not far. When the light shines clearly, no, it's a woman wearing a dark shirt, standing and smiling. Uncle Yak fired one shot into the air, but the woman still stood in the same place. He didn't move and smiled like before. This time, Uncle Yak shot another shot at him, but it disappeared after a moment, as seen there. My mother asked, "Is there no one there?" Uncle Yo said that when he arrived there was none, but there definitely was before, because there are new empty footprints standing on the vegetable patch. Mother is starting to feel bad. In my mind, I thought that the woman looked like the woman in black who was standing next to the old wooden shrine that I had encountered on my way to school several days ago. I told Uncle Yo that, "Have you ever seen a woman?" Her appearance was similar to the girl from earlier when we went to school. Uncle Yo asked where he saw it. Mother then told the story of that day, how she had found it and where she had found it. Uncle Yod looked a little shocked when he listened, and he said that he didn't know if it was true or not. But do not tell this story to Uncle Yak, because he has the personality of being a thug, outspoken, not afraid of anyone, and accidentally gets annoyed. Breaking into the courthouse would not be good. There will be problems with the villagers in that area as well.